Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Fabrizio Romano here as always to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today guys, as usual, many things to discuss. I wanted to clarify some stuff on the strikers on the market. Of course, always a big topic to discuss together. And so, let's jump into it. And so guys, here we are as always to discuss movements, news, strikers. I'm getting many questions from many of you, but I think it's important to clarify some things, guys, on the strikers market, because you can find many information on goalkeepers, and not only here on the channel on the previous video, but also on strikers. On Šeško, I think I did 50 videos in the recent days to explain to you every update all about the situation. Well, what I can tell you more on the Benjamin Šeško situation, guys, is that, just to be clear, many questions on the player deciding. The player will take some days to decide. Šeško is not deciding today. I think Šeško is not deciding tomorrow, Thursday. So probably will take some more days to meet with his family, to meet with his agent, to meet with people close to him, and make the best decision possible for his future. So this is the situation of Šeško. Decide about what? Newcastle, I keep telling you since last week. Now Newcastle and Šeško is everywhere. But I keep telling you since last week that Newcastle are prepared to pay what it takes to Red Bull Leipzig and to Benjamin Šeško. Contract terms, salary, commission, transfer fee, whatever. Newcastle are ready to go for Benjamin Šeško any moment. This depends on the player, what the player wants to do. On the other side, Manchester United. Manchester United are in contact with Benjamin Šeško's camp since the end of last week, and Manchester United are in contact also with Red Bull Leipzig. So, Man United spoke to both of them. Christopher Vivell, remember what I told you guys in a video here yesterday. Now, this story is everywhere, but yesterday here on the channel I was telling you, Christopher Vivell is the name to remember. Christopher Vivell is a director of Manchester United who used to work at Red Bull Group. Then he went to Chelsea for some time and then to Manchester United. Christopher Vivell has very good relationship with Red Bull Group and knows Šeško very well. So what happened is that Christopher Vivell is working actively, helping with this deal. Man United are in contact with Leipzig. What I can add to you to this story, in contact with Leipzig and in contact with the player camp, is that Manchester United are also showing Leipzig the opportunity to maybe include a player into the deal for Benjamin Šeško. Then we have to see if these players eventually could be open to go to Leipzig, because they don't play European football for the first time in many years. So I don't think it's going to be easy to include a player in this deal. But it is showing how Manchester United are really trying to do business for Benjamin Šeško. So what happened in terms of strikers is that Manchester United last week spoke to Aston Villa for Dibu Martinez, and Aston Villa said, forget about loan, permanent, 35, 40 millions or nothing. And then spoke about Ollie Watkins, but the answer from Monchi and Damien Vidagani at Aston Villa was quite clear. They told Manchester United that they don't want to sell the player. So Watkins remains one of the players in Manchester United thoughts, but Aston Villa don't want to sell the player. So it's going to be a very difficult one. For Benjamin Šeško is different, because Šeško can leave, and Manchester United are trying to understand how they can really make the deal happen. So while Newcastle are ready to go and close the deal any moment if the player calls and says, okay, I'm coming, at the same time, Manchester United are trying to find a solution. And Manchester United are working on it. They spoke to Red Bull Leipzig already 2 days ago. Christopher Vivell, as I told you yesterday, is working on this story. But also the opportunity to include some players. For example, one of the names, dream targets for Red Bull Leipzig could be Rasmus Højlund. But let me say that at the moment, from player side, I always told you the player would love to stay at Manchester United. The player is not entertaining any negotiation with other clubs at this stage. So the situation is quiet. But this is showing how Man United and Leipzig are talking about eventual solutions for the Benjamin Šeško deal. For Ollie Watkins, remains an appreciated, very appreciated solution, but Aston Villa don't want to sell the player. Aston Villa closed their doors last week. So that's the situation for Man United striker as of today. Then we have to see what Šeško decides to do, and it's not going to be today. And from what I heard, it's not going to be also tomorrow. It's going to take some days before Šeško says, okay, this is the project I want, I've decided. Not too many days, I don't expect a very long saga. But in the next days, Benjamin Šeško will meet with his family, with his agent, consider all the elements of this project, and then decide. With Manchester United really trying, and with Newcastle ready. Then obviously, guys, this story will have an impact on Alexander-Isak. Today, many of you saying, Fabrizio, is true that Alexander-Isak agreed personal terms with Liverpool. Guys, I told you, I think for 2 weeks now, that Alexander-Isak wants to go to Liverpool. Just to give you some context. How can you think that Alexander Isak doesn't go to train, doesn't go to pre-season tour with Newcastle without having a contract ready with Liverpool? It's quite obvious that the contract is not a problem, it's not an issue. It's absolutely obvious. A player is never going to create a problem with his current club if he doesn't have already an agreement ready on the other side. So personal terms are never going to be a problem. It's never going to be a problem of salary, a problem of whatever with Liverpool. Alexander Isak wants to go to Liverpool. I keep repeating that. Alexander Isak, forget about Chelsea, forget about Arsenal, forget about United. These rumors from England are not true. Chelsea are busy with different things. Arsenal signed Gyökeres, Man United can't afford Isak. They said Hilal. Last week when the bomb from Alexander Isak arrived, Hilal working on deal for Isak. No, Hilal are not part of the conversation for Isak. Now it disappeared from all the reports because it's only Liverpool Football Club. For Alexander Isak, it's only Liverpool Football Club. So forget about the reports on Hilal and all the other clubs. Isak said Liverpool. And the contract is never going to be a problem. So forget about that. It's not going to be the contract. It's on Newcastle. If and when Newcastle open doors to an exit, Liverpool are ready to bid. Liverpool are ready to make a record bid. Liverpool are ready to go for it. But waiting for Newcastle to call and say, okay, now it's time to do it. But this obviously also depends on the Benjamin Sesko story in terms of timing. So let's see how this domino, this puzzle of strikers will evolve. But just to explain to you the whole situation. And then there is Nicolas Jackson, guys. Don't forget the name of Nicolas Jackson on the market. Because for Nico Jackson, there could still be movements. Because for Nico Jackson, there are several opportunities. Chelsea are still recasting important money for Jackson. So in this moment of the market, it's not an easy deal to do. Because for Chelsea, Jackson is not a problem. Or they get a good proposal, or they're more than happy to continue with Jackson. But, for example, if Šeško goes to Manchester United, Jackson could be an option for Newcastle. Or if Šeško goes to Newcastle, keep an eye on Jackson, because obviously Chelsea appreciate Garnacho, and that could be one of the last-minute solutions. But at the moment, the focus of Man United is on Benjamin Sesko. The focus also on Newcastle is on Benjamin Sesko. And so this story is going to drive, probably, the domino of strikers in the next days. And then it's going to also have an impact on the other big story, Alexander Isak. But please, don't ask me. It's true that we have an agreement Liverpool with the personal terms, because a player is obviously wants to go to Liverpool. And if you want to go to Liverpool, it's not going to be a contract problem. So relax about that. Is on Newcastle. I keep repeating that. Newcastle. Is Newcastle deciding on this story? It's not the contract, the salary. Forget. The player side is okay. It's only about Newcastle. So let's follow the situation. Let's wait for Benjamin Sesko. Let's see what happens with Isak. Let's see if Aston Villa maintain their position. They don't want to sell Watkins. And so let's see what's going to happen later in August. Let's see what happens with Jackson, another name on the market. Movements. So let's see what's going to happen next. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. Isak, Šeško, Watkins, Jackson, and all the rest. I wait, guys, for your opinion here in the comments. Remember to like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon with Fabrizio, here as always with all the updates. Subscribe, as many videos are coming.